Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. I was craving soup for lunch today, but not just any soup, but the bisque, which is a smooth, creamy, highly seasoned soup of French origin. So I've decided to make wild mushroom bisque with Marsala wine, and I'm gonna be serving it with Parmesan crostinis. Let's get started. It is hard to find wide varieties of fresh wild mushrooms, and if you do find them, they're extremely expensive. So I've decided to go with the dried gourmet mushrooms. And in this mix, I have the mushrooms that I am very familiar with, which are portobello porcini, oyster mushrooms, chanterelles, and yellow bulidos, which is very common in Russia. I was very excited to get that one in the mix. So I'm gonna measure out about 2.5–3 cups of dried mushrooms in this container, preferably with the lid, and we need to hydrate them. So we're gonna pour 4 cups of boiling water into the container with dried mushrooms. We're gonna cover it and let it soak for an hour. It's been a little bit over an hour, and as you can see, our dried mushrooms fully hydrated and they plumped up a lot. So what we need to do, we need to place a double of paper towel on a tray or plate, and then we need to fish them out, and then on the paper towel, of course, and as you can see, we got a lot of them. And then I got 3 cups of mushroom broth that I'm gonna use in our soup too. Place another paper towel over the mushrooms and try to dry them as much as you can. Then put them on a cutting board and roughly chop them. We don't need to have a specific chop of these mushrooms because they're all gonna be blended out, but just give them a rough chop. I've also decided to use some fresh mushrooms for added taste and texture. So here I have 1 pound of baby bella mushrooms. So you could just use the button mushrooms. And to get the dirt off the mushrooms, you simply just need to brush it off them like that. And then we need to reserve maybe 2 or 3 mushrooms for decoration, and we're gonna chop the other mushrooms into little cubes, just so everything looks a little bit more defined in the soup. In the bisque, ideally for the onion choice, you would use the shallots. So I have 2 shallots here, but if you can't find these, you could use the purple onion or just a regular onion. But I'm gonna dice the shallots, and I'm crying like crazy. So why do they make you cry more? Because they contain sulfonic acid and ammonia. No wonder. Then we need to mince 4 or 5 cloves of garlic, and people ask me all the time, why do you not give us a specific amount? It's always 3 to 5, 4 to 5. It's because we'll have different preferences in taste. If you like more garlicky taste, then use more garlic. If you like less, then use less garlic. So I'm gonna mince the garlic, and out of those 5 cloves of garlic, I got 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. In most of the bisques, some fortified wine is used, and I'm using Marsala wine. Fortified wine is a wine to which a distilled spirit, usually brandy, is added to give it a little bit more strength and flavor. So I need 1 cup of Marsala wine. For the soup, I will need 4 to 5 cups of chicken broth, or you could use the vegetable broth, but be careful because in most of the vegetable broths, some of the very strong flavored vegetables are used, and they will compete with the flavor of your mushroom soup. Since it's the cream-based soup, we also need some heavy whipping cream, about 3 to 4 cups. To thicken our soup, we need to make a roux, which is usually an equal amounts of butter and flour. So I'm using 125 grams of butter to 125 grams of all-purpose flour. We need to heat up the butter in a small saucepan, then add the flour, and then mix it rapidly so we get a smooth consistency. Then we just need to bring it to a boil lower the heat a little bit and cook for about 5 minutes until it thickens up and it's ready to be used in our soup. Let's make our soup already. In a large 5-6 quart stock pot or cast iron pot, add 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil and 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter. We need to heat those up and then add our diced shallots. Cook your shallots on a medium heat until they're slightly brown. Then we're gonna add half of the amount of our minced garlic. Cook it for just 1 minute. Mix it constantly so your garlic does not burn. And then we're gonna add our dried, hydrated mushrooms. Then mix it. And we're gonna add our fresh baby bella mushrooms. Then mix it again, and we need to cook it on a medium to high heat until the fresh mushrooms are cooked. Now we're gonna begin seasoning our bisque, which this will also help the mushroom to sweat out those juices. We're gonna add 2 teaspoons of kosher salt and 1 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. Then I'm gonna use 1 teaspoon of dried parsley. We're gonna mix it together, and as you can see, there's some juices that have developed, and then we need to evaporate them before we add our marsala. At this point, you're gonna add your marsala wine or dry sherry. You need to crank up the heat because we need to reduce the liquid by half. And this process will take you about 4 to 5 minutes. In the meantime, I'm gonna just chop some fresh thyme because I think that goes well with the flavor of mushrooms. I'm gonna add thyme to our saute, and as you can see, most of the liquid has gone. Now we're gonna start adding the liquids back into the soup, which is the mushroom broth, the chicken broth, and the heavy cream. Then we're gonna mix those together, and we're gonna add our roux. And if my calculations are right, this should give you the perfect consistency of your bisque. So we're gonna return this mixture to a boil, and then we're gonna reduce the heat to simmer, and we're gonna simmer it for 25 to 30 minutes and close the lid. I usually like to enjoy my soup with a piece of bread, but this time I've decided to make Parmesan crostini. So I have these baguettes in my freezer that I quickly cooked, and as you can see, they're still soft, so a little bit hard to cut them, slice them. I'm gonna slice them on the bites in the long strips like this. And of course, this knife from Victorino's usually helps. It's the best bread knife. If you haven't tried that knife, I mean, buy it. It's not very expensive and absolutely love. Brush your pieces of bread with some extra virgin olive oil. Then I like to use some kind of topper. So this is Borsari finishing salt. It has rosemary in it. I think it works fine. And then you're gonna generously put some Parmesan cheese on these pieces of bread, and we're gonna put them on the lined baking sheet far apart. We're gonna broil them at 450 degrees Fahrenheit for 3 to 5 minutes until they look like this. Wow, what a treat. Let's check on our soup, and you know the consistency of it is right when it covers the spoon like this and it doesn't drip completely down, because it's gonna thicken a little bit more, and then we just need to take that hand blender and blend that soup a little bit so it has much creamier and more defined consistency. But leave the pieces of mushrooms in there too, because that's just gonna be wonderful. Then season it, and again with salt and pepper, and then it's time for us to taste the soup. If your seasoning is right, and your soup is ready. cover the pot and let rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. In the meantime, we're gonna make some presentation pieces for our soup serving. I'm gonna slice some mushrooms, and I'm also gonna tear apart that fresh oregano. That would be great for serving, to serve our soup with. And of course, we just need to fry up these mushrooms. So in a small frying pan, we're gonna add or heat up 1 tablespoon of butter, and we're gonna put the mushrooms in there. And then the key here is not to saute the mushrooms, but really fry them up, like crispen them up so they look almost brown. And then we're gonna season them with some salt and pepper, and also gonna add that half of the garlic that we reserved. It's gonna give our mushrooms really good taste. And then, as you can see, as your mushrooms start to brown, just turn them on the other side and brown them on the other side until they look like this. And we're ready to serve our bisque. I'm so excited. So we're gonna pour some of this beautiful bisque into a beautiful bowl. Then we're gonna place the mushrooms on top. And of course, you could use the tweezers if you wanna play a chef like me. And then we're gonna put some fresh oregano. And then we're gonna dot in some of the heavy cream on top. And as a final touch, our Parmesan crostini. And of course, we're gonna enjoy this soup. Why not? It is so exquisite. I hope you like this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Bye.